Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Ray Sports News and Debates. In today's video, we're going over our Week 3 NFL predictions. I know we missed weeks 1 and 2, been kind of busy in life, but we're getting back into it, and we're going to start with our Week 3 predictions. And without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Starting with tonight's game, we got the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Bills are going to win this relatively quickly. I think it's going to be a blowout. And I think Mike McDaniels is now going to be on the hot seat. If he wasn't before, he's going to be after this game. I got the Bills winning here. Next, we got Green Bay versus Cleveland. I'm Green Bay. I mean, they've just played really well the first 2 games of the season. Cleveland is really not that good on the offensive end. Defensively, I think they're kind of sound. I know they give up a lot of points to Baltimore last week, but I still like Myles Garrett. But I got to go with Green Bay. Next one, we got Colts versus Titans. Colts, Daniel Jones. Early, after week 2. He's in my top 5 candidates for MVP. Say what you want about Daniel Jones. Say what you want about the competition. The Colts look like the best team in that division, and it's because of Daniel Jones. He's played great. They're winning. They're in first place in the division. I don't know what's happening in Houston. I don't know if the Jags are going to be good or they're going to suck. And the Titans they're a 2-year from now team. I like Cam Ward and what he's done so far. I think he's got to limit the turnovers, but he's a rookie. It's going to happen. But yeah, I'm going Colts to go 3-0 here versus the Tennessee Titans. I think it'll be close, but I do have the Colts winning. Next, Battle of the Backups. This game turned into. You have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Minnesota Vikings. So Carson Wentz is going to start for the Vikings, and then I can't remember his name, but the backup who's played a little bit last week was able to win. I'm going to go with Cincinnati here. I think I don't know how Carson's going to work. Being the starter. It's his 6th. I believe he set a record for. It's his 6th straight season starting for a different team, which is not good, by the way. But I just like Cincinnati. I think the offense is more explosive. I think they have the better wide receiver duo. I think they have the better quarterback personally, and then they have the better running back. But yeah, we're going Cincinnati. Pittsburgh versus New England. I think this is going to be a really low-scoring game. I'm talking 16 to 14. But I'm going Pittsburgh here. I like what Rodgers did week 1, and if that Pittsburgh defense can play like Pittsburgh defense, this one will be relatively quick. I do like New England. I do think they're going to be a playoff team this year, but I do have them losing here to Pittsburgh. Next game, Jets versus the Buccaneers. Justin Fields is out. Tyrod Taylor's in for the Jets. But I'm going Tampa Bay. Baker is right now my front runner for MVP. Him and Herbert are like 1-2. It could go either way, but Baker's 2 for 2 in game-winning drives, having to go down the field, score to win the game. He's 2 for 2, so that's why he gets the nod. Once they get Godwin back, this offense is really going to be hard to start. Once that rookie wide receiver gets through the rookie woes that all wide receivers do, Tampa Bay probably will end up being the number 1 seed come the end of the season. But I'm going Baker and the Bucs here. Next, we have the Raiders versus Washington. I haven't heard for sure if Daniels is playing. If Daniels isn't playing, Mariota will be the starter. I think either way, I'm going Commanders here. I like the Raiders. They're probably going to be the best last place team in any division, if that makes them feel any better. I just like the Commanders more personally. I like the quarterback plays better. The defense is better in Washington. And I just think this is going to be a no-biter, but I do have the Commanders winning. Next, Atlanta versus Carolina. It'll be a low-scoring game just because for some reason Michael Penix cannot score touchdowns. I don't know what it is. They should be mopping the floors with these teams that they've been playing. But I am going to go Atlanta here. Bryce Young, I think this is his last year in Carolina before they get rid of him. But I got the Falcons winning here. Next, Houston versus Jags, the 0-2 Texans. Okay, now the Texans have played two great teams. Okay, and they lost. They lost both times. They lost to Tampa Bay, and then they lost to the Rams. Which right now that would be my NFC conference championship. Would be those two games, with those two teams, the Rams and the Bucks. But I'm going to go to Houston and get the first one of the season. I don't know which Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars I'm going to get week to week. I don't know. I could get the good side. I could get the bad side. I'm assuming it's going to be the bad side this week. Houston's in a must-win, in week 3 because the Colts are going to be 3-0. And you jump to 0-3. You're 3 games back. Yes, there's 14 games left in the season, and you do have to play the Colts twice, so you could get 2 games back, but you can't go to 0-3. So I got Houston to win here. For first place in the AFC West, we got the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, like I said, Herbert right now is 1-2, like 1A, 1B with Baker for MVP. Herbert has played phenomenal. They're finally using him as a passer. Okay, if they can get anything out of the run game, I know they didn't really run that much last week, but Herbert's been phenomenal. Week 1 beat Patrick Mahomes. Okay, week 2 the defense dominated the Raiders. I'm going to go the Chargers here. I think the Broncos have got very lucky through the first 2 weeks of the season. I don't think that's going to happen again here. I like the Chargers defense. I like the Chargers offense. Keenan Allen is like turning back the clock like he was playing 6-7 years ago with the same Charger team. But I like the Chargers here to go 3-0, claim first place in the division. Seattle versus the Saints. Seattle here. Saints, Rattler had a really good game last week against the 49ers. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But Seattle's just the better team, top to bottom. And I think this is going to be a showcase game for Sammy Darnold out there. So I'm going Seattle here. Dallas versus Chicago, which I think it's going to be game of the week. And that's crazy to say. We make anybody look good. If we can make Russell Wilson look good with 450 passing yards, we're about to make Caleb Williams look like a freaking 5-year pro, all-pro quarterback. But I got the Cowboys to win here. The Cowboys should win this game. Prescott's the better quarterback. They have the better wide receivers, in my opinion. And I just think if it turns into an offensive shootout, the Cowboys will win just like they won last week against the Giants. But yeah, we're going Cowboys there. Arizona and San Francisco. No, word out is Purdy could play. They haven't said he's going to play. They said he could play. I think if he plays, they win. I'm gonna go with the assumption that Purdy is gonna play, and if not, Mac Jones did very well, in the backup role or taking over last week. I think either quarterback starts. I think San Francisco beats Arizona. Then we got Kansas City at the Giants. Chiefs, come on. I mean, if they lose to the Giants, I really am worried about the Chiefs. They have to beat the Giants. They have to beat the Giants. There's no way the Chiefs lose to the Giants, right? Right? Come on, Mahomes. But yeah, the Chiefs should easily win this game. I think this will be Wilson's last game as a starter. I think Dart will get the knock next week after he loses this week. And then, again, another potential game of the week. We got Detroit and the Ravens. Now, Detroit obviously struggled on the offensive end week 1, only scoring 13 points against a very sturdy Packers defense, only to come drop a 50 piece on the Bears. Now, I know it's the Bears, but if you score 50 points in any NFL game, that is massively impressive. And, the Ravens really should be 2-0 right now. They should have beat the Bills. They let them come back and beat them. And obviously they dominated, Cleveland. I'm going Detroit here. I think that game was, they opened up a can of whoop ass. And, now I can see the offense, flowing a little bit better. Jared Goff was fantastic. I don't know what his passer rating was, but it damn sure should have been a perfect passer rating. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 334 yards passing. Absolute beast. Okay. Now, in terms of passer rating, Lamar Jackson is number 1 right now. Okay. But even like saying that, I have him at the, he's 5A, maybe 6 in my MVP race just because, you got to win that game versus the Bills. Okay. And I just think certain quarterbacks have played better. Their numbers might not say that, but unfortunately, I do have the Ravens taking a loss here to the Detroit Lions. And that's my Week 3 NFL predictions, guys. Feel free to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Comment below your predictions for Week 3, where I went wrong, what would you change differently. Okay, and until next time, you guys have a good one.